Okay, yes, I'm married, but sympathy for these people.
Okay.
Okay, so there are men in America who have completely sworn off marriage
Sure.
because there's no benefit in our current society for men to get married.
Okay.
Because...
Except for tax benefits, but yeah.
Right. But... but the paying for family outweighs the tax benefit.
Right. Sure.
Anyway, but it's because the legal system will always favor the women having the children and the women in the divorce. And if maybe that's not true, but that's what they say.
Okay.
So what do you think about all that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree actually. Like so let me put it this way. So if you're an individual that's not following Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you're not a Christian, you're just out there just living life, doing what you do. I don't know, like if you're able to just, if you're able to like live someone, not have to marry, right?
Okay.
Them, and you can just live with them until it becomes too inconvenient, then you can just move out. You hit a disagreement, you hit a rough spot in the relationship, you can just move out. Like, yeah, that's so much easier. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Right.
And so like I get that. And then again, if you're concerned about, hey, I don't believe marriage is going to last more than a few years anyway, then or at some point I'm going to have to go through the divorce process. Then yeah, like I get that.
Okay.
And I mentioned it before too, like for me, I'm married. We've been happily married for 20 years.
Yikes.
6 months. And what's today's date? The 20th? 6 months, 8 days. And at the time of this recording, an hour and 47 minutes. So that's how long I've been married. And so, so our marriage is awesome. But right before
You've been married for 20 years?
I have.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
I don't know. We hit 20 in June.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, all this stuff was happening with my dad in June too.
Oh yeah.
So,
ruined it.
Yeah. I wasn't even there. Like Melly and I weren't even together for our anniversary. So it just the way it worked out. But anyway.
Horrible.
Yeah. But so, and we've been married for, again, 20 years, 6 months, 8 days, hour, 47 minutes. And like, it has been absolutely incredible. Before that though, before I proposed to her, and we got engaged, like I've said this before, like hit my own kind of crisis of do I ever want to get married? And maybe not for some of the exact same reasons, like the legal system, that kind of stuff. But like marriage is hard, right? Like marriage can be hard, even though I would say marriage is like the greatest thing ever. It's incredibly joyful. For me, the benefits are amazing. However, it is difficult because just two people trying to live together and not be selfish while doing it. Yeah. And so like I do empathize with people that are going into marriage and men that are like, man, I don't get all this. Like I get it. I do. But if you're a Christian man, I think to me, that's a really big difference, because then it's not just about, hopefully I'm trying to find someone where I'm doing my dangest to commit to them for the rest of my life and believing that they're going to commit to me for the rest of their life. Okay. And so divorce shouldn't be an option. I'll put it that way. And not that there's not reasons for it, but going in, I shouldn't be like, you know what? If this thing gets really difficult or hard, I'm out. Okay. All right. And hopefully she's not thinking the same way. You're walking in thinking, all right, we are resolute in this. We have a resolute mindset. We are going to stay together for better or for worse, right? The vows that we take. And so I think that for men who are Christians, you want to find someone who's, following Jesus, that, marry them and really trust and believe that the two of you together will continue to follow Jesus, and you'll continue to fall more in love with each other. and you continue to become more like Jesus together, and you're not having to worry about all this divorce and legal fallout. And I know that's more of a hope, right? Because there are plenty of people who go into that thinking the same way, and it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And so I get that. I just think it's worth that shot to do it. And, and then of course, bringing kids into the equation is a whole different ball game.
Right.
Right. I mean, stats are pretty clear. Statistics are pretty clear. 2 parents in a home creates the most stable environment for children.
Heterosexual ones.
Yes. Heterosexual. Thank you. Heterosexual ones. And so it creates
I've heard people say those stats.
Yep. And so it creates an incredibly stable environment. So if I'm an individual that's just looking to hook up, get someone pregnant that I'm not married to, realizing it's not going to last, long term. Mm-hmm. Oh, but I'll still have a kid. Okay, great. You're going to still have a kid. That's pretty selfish on you, because now what you're also saying is, I don't care if my kid has an unstable home growing up.
Right.
And again, I know we cannot always guarantee that relationships are going to work out, but man, I would hope that we would fight for that.
So here's my problem.
Go for it.
All right. So I don't understand the point of view. I don't understand your point of view.
Okay.
Because you say, hey, I get that the legal system screws over dudes. And if you have that thought about going into marriage, that makes sense. But if you marry Christian, then that won't happen.
No, I didn't say it won't. You're believing it won't.
Right.
You're trusting it won't.
But the problem is, it still will. No, it still could.
Yeah. Okay, but
then I'm screwed.
Yeah, but also, so for example,
again, I'm married.
Right. I know. So, let me say this too, because there's often said that Christian marriages have the same divorce rate, or roughly the same divorce rate, as non-Christian marriages.
Okay.
And so, in other words, and if that's the case,
then no one should ever get married in America currently.
Right. But
okay,
that stat is pulling from individuals that claim to be Christian. In other words, they identify as a Christian in their religion.
Okay.
Not individuals that are actively following Jesus, actively involved in their church,
okay,
Bible believing, biblical literate individuals. The stat there jumps way up, and the success rate of those marriages are in like the 80% range.
Okay.
So it's a huge difference, right? And so all I'm saying is, I think that if I can't live in fear of if I'm going to have a divorce or not, okay? And even if if I'm married and there's, and I have my kids, if I go through a divorce, that money going to help provide for my children, I shouldn't have an issue with that.
Okay. Is it
going to it might make my life more difficult, right? Financially. However, because I'm having to help, I'm having to have my own place, right? My own expenses, and I'm having to give money for child support, right? But again, if I'm having to give money toward my children and toward their mother and where they're living and how they are provided for, I think I should be okay with that too.
Okay.
Just being honest. I think I should probably be okay with that too.
Okay, but okay.
Yeah.
But there's also all the stuff beforehand during the marriage, even if you don't have children.
Yeah.
That you can get screwed over on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. I guess
let's just agree to agree.
I think we agree that it's a problem.
Or
it can be problematic. I think we agree with that.
Yeah.
I guess for me though, marriage is always the best option. Like, in other words, I've got to go into it believing, hey, this is the one.
Yeah.
We're gonna follow Jesus together. We're gonna make it through. So I've got to believe that.
Okay.
And and so again, I think the conversation is very different for a non-Christian than it is for a Christian.
I just have two brains about this all the time. Because I'm like, yeah,
Okay.
You get married.
Right.
And then you're married. But then
Right.
I'm like, oh, yeah, it really is terrible for people. Like, the system doesn't want me to get married. It's like the system is actively discouraging me from wanting to do this.
If you're looking at everything through a financial lens,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that has to be part of it too, where we're just not going to view everything through a simple financial lens.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, right. I mean, I understand, but
Yeah.
but there still are two, like to me, when I think about it, I'm like, well, logically, if you don't have a religious reason to get married, why would you?
Yeah.
Like, would you agree?
Yeah, and I would.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then don't.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
I would
Now-
encourage you not to.
Yeah. I think the difference to me,
Okay.
and I will say this, I think that's a young man's perspective so often,
Okay.
because I do believe that there's a sense of companionship through life and as we get older that a lot of us won't.
Right, but also young men are poorer. and
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
like, well, this looks like it's gonna suck.
Right. Like, and again, I get that. Like
Yeah.
I told you earlier, like I
Yeah.
had my own crisis because I was looking around
Yeah.
going, I don't see many marriages that I really want to emulate or
Right.
that I think are that healthy or great.
Yeah.
And so, and now I can say I can look around and man, I know a lot of really healthy marriages, and I love that I can say that now. Because man, when I was 20, how old was I? 23, 24, man, I was 24, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard to see that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I have two brains about it.
I get it. I get you. I get you.
And the wanting companionship won.
You're definitely better off for it, brother.
Yeah. I know. We wouldn't be doing this if I didn't get married.
That's true.
Actually. Not really. We might have. But it wouldn't have gone great.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have gone this well.
No.
We might have started this, but it wouldn't have been this good.
No. Like your wife is a godsend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is.